Bueno, muy buenos días nuevamente. Les voy a contar ahora las novedades de
Good morning. Let me tell you about the news about GeneXus 16. GeneXus 16 was released a year ago, but let me tell you about the progress made by GeneXus 16 until now. When GeneXus 16 was built, it was built on a vision that has three angles. On the one hand is that the user's world was going to move to multi-experience. Enterprise solutions were going to be ecosystems, and that solutions that we were going to build from now onwards were going to have more and more AI components. And that's going to help us in the decision-making process and in the process automation. Therefore, that component is very important, or more and more important in solutions. That's how we conceived GeneXus 16. In fact, what we've done is to work on those same pillars. That is, we have worked on technology, to work on design regarding users, and about business and the process. These three axes are considered very important for digital transformation. We believe that progress must occur at the same time in the three so that we have this digital transformation. That doesn't mean that to move forward, one of them may become the driver pulling the others. After my talk, there is a talk from La Asociación Española, which is healthcare institution. They are going to tell you their story, but the driver of their progress and digital transformation was the user experience that moved and that pushed the rest. So we see this axis as three very important axes, and that's how my talk will develop. Let us focus on technology and on artificial intelligence. We feel that this is going to be a more and more important component in the solutions that you develop. We're working on three issues. On the one hand, we expanded the range of suppliers that we support so that with the various functions that we have in the drivers up in the cloud of AI, we have drivers for text, images, video, and so on. You may know that with the same code, you can work on models that are pre-trained with all these suppliers. So that's piece of news number one. Number two is that now we are supporting not only pre-trained models, but we've got new functions so that you can train against models that you set up in these clouds. In fact, in our lab, in the lab that we're going to have in this meeting, you'll be able to test that new functionality. That is, you'll be able to test that new model. Damian Salvia and the people from AI will also give talks about this. This progress, and due to this progress, we've been able to have an SAP certification, as Nicolas announced it earlier today. This is the path that we'll be working on, as Gaston said. At server-side level, the .NET generator, well, Microsoft determined very clear what the working line of .NET is this year, and it's .NET 5. Our answer is to get to that generation, and to do that, we have our generator .NET Core. It's being updated so that it can follow the progress pace proposed by Microsoft. And we've completed it, and now we have an Oracle support, for instance, right now. And there is a clear list of all the things that we are still working on in our documentation. As regards the Java world, well, Java 6 is no longer supported. Java 7 is still having an extended support, perhaps for a year on. But in fact, because of those two reasons, as from now, we generate for Java 8 or higher. There are two reasons for this. The first one has to do with quality, to give a better quality to the solutions, to the code first, and then solutions. And the second reason that's fundamental, because of security reasons. So as from now, it's Java 8 or higher. Now, standard libraries of our Java generator are in GitHub. We are working on it so that we can have a better quality code because it's naturally exposed. And we have obtained your collaboration as well. So this is focusing on a higher code quality, faster speed, thanks to the collaboration and the work done together and the progress that we can all make. Let's go into mobile now. As regards mobile, we've got our two generators, iOS and Android. As you know, for iOS, Apple launched iPhone 11. iOS 13 is the new version of the operating system, and GeneXus is already generating for all this. So in the past 2 weeks, we've also updated GeneXus to generate for the latest version of the Apple platform. Something else, you see Swift 5 here, down here. That's the language for which we are generating. Swift has evolved along the year. It's a language that started evolving and has new constructions. Therefore, those hand developers require them to update their codes according to these new versions. For you, as a GeneXus community, you simply have to make a rebuild all, generate it, and you are generating for the next or for the latest language. That's our effort, but it's a way of ensuring the future of your application so that you can advance and accompany the pace, because it's very difficult to follow up without GeneXus. At Android level, well, Google launched Android 10. We have the first devices supporting this new operating system. What GeneXus launches or has is already working on Android 10. The Angular generator is quite used for enterprise apps. There are many special requirements that we've solved and implemented. We can tell you that there are PDF reports or Bluetooth printouts. These are for companies, but not so much for the end user or end consumer that were included or have been included in this generator. So we've worked hard here. In these mobile platforms, the stores are more and more strict in relation to the solutions that we publish. Because of security reasons, for many reasons, they require more and more. This means that we also have, or you also have, to update your GeneXus version. For Apple, we require upgrade 1. For Android is upgrade 3 or higher for GeneXus 16. Now, the good thing is that we have made that change internally in our processes, and the change in the release program that Anna was mentioning earlier on today. That internal change allows you to be updated and follow the pace of these platforms. Let's move on now to design. Well, the concept of design system has become more and more important. It's become universal, and we are hearing this everywhere. Design systems are a group of patterns or principles. And what is the third one, please? Patterns, principles, and practices. It's 3 Ps. Patterns, principles, and practices, so that you can have a coherence in the solutions that you have. And look, if the world is moving towards multi-experience, and on the other hand, solutions involve ecosystems, how can we be coherent in all the solutions that we make? Coherence at the level of user experience and user interface. We can only achieve that if we base it and start with these practices and these principles. and those patterns. It's easy. Now we have new patterns. We've updated, I'm sorry, he starts by saying now that we've updated Fiori 2.0 to Fiori 3.0. We are supporting this new design system. In Carmine, we added dark Carmine. And our partners in the platform have also released new versions of their design systems. So we are accompanying all the progress made. Here you have a screen of what Android and iOS looks like in Carmine. This is Starmine Dark. And we have released the iOS, and the Android is on its way. So these new forms that Google and Apple are proposing can already be used by you in your apps. And then, as regards design systems, an important component and something that we've added in GeneXus 16 is what we call the user controls. They can be used within GeneXus. There is an object called user control to which you can add an external control. Gaston Milano referred to the components. HTML web components are the next standard coming from the web world, or that are already a standard. Now, the good piece of news is that those HTML web components can be used in a user control, and in that way you can include external controls to your systems. The other item of web solutions is progressive web applications. You can hear them all the time, but what are they? Well, we said that the web world goes to reach. With our web solutions, we reach the masses. On the other hand, with our mobile apps, what we get is we gain the loyalty of the mass. Now, the question is, how can we migrate those masses? How can we take them to us? How can we bring them to our mobile applications? That bridge is what progressive web applications try to solve. When we apply GX29, if you execute it in a mobile device through the web, you're going to have a screen inviting you to add an icon of that web application in your mobile. When you click on the on the item, it will be as a native app. You tap on the device, and this screen opens up. It's the same web screen, but full screen. So we are trying to emulate a native app, which in fact is a web app. Now, if that web app that you've developed also has a native app associated to it, and that's the case of GX29, then in fact the web application is suggesting to install the native app. So that's where the promise is fulfilled. We are trying to make the masses move into our native applications and gain loyalty, the loyalty of our users. And that's why we have the progressive web applications. That's one further property in our main web object, and the web app will become progressive. The other progress is in relation to chatbots. As you know, GeneXus 29 application includes Ruby, which is a chatbot. There are going to be several talks and labs about these chatbots in this meeting. We've worked quite a lot on chatbots this year. And just remember, why would someone have a chatbot in GeneXus directly? Well, because in GeneXus, we've got that easiness of integration. It's integration easily. It's integrated easily. We cannot think of a chat box outside everything. We have to integrate it to the rest. In your chatbot, as the user interacts, you can already provide components of the rest of the applications. The chatbots can make decisions by you. It can execute procedures that you've already executed. And you can visualize components that you've design for the web application, you can see those components in that interaction. That is, it's a whole flow that starts in that conversation with the user that is fully integrated to the rest of the solutions. And that's where the chatbot becomes valuable in a solutions such as those that you build. Here on the screen, you can see how in WhatsApp, when I'm talking, I have images or parts of screens that belong to the rest of the system and that you can see in the iOS and Android applications. Now, as regards to WhatsApp, now the QR through which, that's the number through which you can talk with Rudy by WhatsApp. Now, outside in the community, there are some experiences about chatbots this year. There is a new product called Robot. Alexandra Lucchini will be presenting it. It's using the chatbot object, the chatbot generator of GeneXus. Now, Marcos Avellón will be telling you about Anna. That's another chatbot that he made. So there are several experiences in our community with chatbots. Now, the next thing is this. I don't know if you can read this very well. I can see right to left. I can read this from here. And this means that there are new markets open for us in the Middle East, in the Far East, and to be able to right to left, well, this is an opportunity for you to adapt and to offer them in those languages. This is the GeneXus meeting application, what it looks like in Arabic. And this is an app when as you can read very clearly from the screen, it's how a new employee is registered, and this is done with one of our apps in Arabic. We've also worked a lot on maps. Maps in some apps are a central component, and you need a lot of functionalities there. For instance, for the Soy Delivery company, which is a delivery company, to have a map is the central component of its applications. For the person that is traveling from one place to the other, but for those organizing a map. So maps are important both for web and for mobile, and Germán Dota and Javier La Rosa will be talking about the progress that we've made in our generator, and Germán Dota will be telling you about how they adopted that in the several GeneXus solutions that they made for Soy Delivery.
With regard to the reporting, as you know, in GeneXus 16, we added a new object, which is called Dashboard. And we improved the query viewer. We added new graphic options, and as a result, you can make projects more and more important around reporting. And some are exclusively reporting, like this one for Red Pagos from GeneXus Consulting. It's a network of agencies that is spread throughout the country. And this application that was made by GeneXus Consulting is for the managers to make decisions based on a map and this business dashboard. And they can make decisions with regard to their agencies and sub-agencies. There are several risk indicators, and the executives can make their decisions based on these business dashboards. Sometimes they are based or the basis for making a whole decision for the company. Now, with regard to other business management suite, the Xflow has been completed with regard to BPM 2.0, and we have improved the performance with regard to the engine of Xflow. This because we have been asked to help with very big projects that have a heavier load and therefore require our analysis and our improvements and fine-tuning throughout the engine of Xflow. There will be presentations with regard to Xflow itself, the processes, and how to adapt our solutions to processes in this event. Several companies are going to make this presentation based on their own experience. With regard to DevOps, well, maybe I'll start with Design Ops. As Gaston said, it is necessary to include the designers in the production process. We want the designers to work with their favorite tool. So when they work in Sketch, which is their design tool, they can export the design. And in GeneXus, we can import the design. This defines the objects in GeneXus, SD panels, themes, images, stencils, and even defines data providers with test data so that they have a prototype on the basis of the design. This accelerates the cycle and the integration of a design, their own design, in an application. It is working already for smart devices and will soon be in beta for the web. So this is the way to work with the designers. Throughout the DevOps cycle, well, there will be many presentations this week about this matter. We have been working on this with GeneXus 16, but I'd like to stress everything that is related to testing. In GeneXus 16, we have integrated in the IDE the UI testing and the unit testing, and the first one can be used for automated tests for web solutions, but it can also be used for the applications in smart devices. There's UI testing for smart devices integrated in the IDE and DevOps cycle. This is a very big progress, and it's a big need in an automated cycle since the testing is required. With regard to security, in our module in the GAM, we have two new features. Firstly, the support by SMAL, and we can connect to identity providers like AGSIC or SAP. And with regard to the various providers, as you know, the GeneXus applications allow to make login with Facebook, Twitter, Google, etc. But now you'll also be able to do it with Apple Sign-In. And this is important because Apple is setting the requirement that all the applications that you upload and have a login with one of the three other providers also have a login with Apple Sign-In. So if you have any of these three, you need to add the fourth one in order to continue updating and uploading applications. So we included this in GeneXus GAM, and you can update GeneXus to this version and you'll have it. Now, companies move to ecosystems, and entrepreneurial solutions move to these kinds of solutions too, and this brings further complexity as well as a multi-experience. We have been working with many companies from the community, which I would like to thank, so that we can include new functionalities in GeneXus so that you'll have the flexibility to choose the architecture you wish for your solutions. Whether you develop a new solution, you will have the flexibility to choose the architecture, or whether you already have one and you have a new business that requires the flexibility, you'll be able to do it. The work has been very hard, and on Wednesday, Gaston and I are going to give presentations on architecture and how GeneXus can adopt anyone. We have been working with some functionalities that may be just one more function for us, but for the client, it creates a whole scenario. In CHB, they made an iPad application for shoes salespeople, and they wanted just one application to collect data from the various companies and factories that are behind the shoes. So in runtime, it is necessary to connect to one set of services or the other from one application. This is just a function we added, but it allowed them to have complex scenarios. So this is to show you how vast is the scope of things on which we have been working. And then with NetViax, who are in the travels market, we have a whole set of APIs that have to be coordinated. Eugenio Garcia is going to speak about API economy, and this slide shows you the growing complexity of the business, and they wanted to have their products ready to give a response to this growing complexity. So this has been joint work, which has led to an improvement in the performance of the generation processes. We made some general improvements in the generation of patterns, which were reduced by 50%. Then in build, there was a reduction of up to 80%. So in times of rebuild all, in the last upgrades, the reduction was 30%. The quality of the code has been improved, and this led to less code being generated. So until now, I told you about the functionalities that we have added to GeneXus. But now I want you to see how the builders community adopted all these. GeneXus Consulting has been working on 24 projects, exclusively projects in 16. Now there are 24 projects in various industries and in other countries too, web, mobile, solutions, etc. And 100% of GeneXus 16 are in GeneXus 15 for the company that you hear. Valkimia, 7 projects in Argentina, not only web and mobile, but also a solution for SAP Business One in various branches of the industry. Develop software, 17 projects in the countries you see here, and in order to open new markets, they needed the inclusion from right to left and also the input from Sketch to gain productivity in their designs. AGL Solutions, 18 projects in Brazil with web, mobile, SAP, and integrating artificial intelligence. Legado IT, 6 products, all in GeneXus 16. Why do they wanted to have these 6 products in GeneXus 16? Because they needed to update they needed to keep technological update and keep the rhythm of technology. GX, various new projects this year in Brazil, in Colombia, they used PWA, 100% in continuous integration, and another one in upgrade 5. And I said, why? And they said, well, we have it in beta because you hadn't released yet the progressive web application. So they have the latest features because they want continuous integration in their internal processes, and they can adopt new technologies very quickly. So they want state-of-the-art. Action point, 15 projects in Argentina with GeneXus 16, and a project that they have for the life cycle of their applications that has more than 22,000 objects, also in GeneXus 16. So what we see is that the mass has moved to GeneXus 16, and congratulations to all the builders that are achieving it. It's something that makes us proud that you are out there benefiting from what we have been working on and that our projects are fruitful. It's a great pride for us and also a big responsibility. So far, what I wanted to tell you about GeneXus 16, what it brings in, and how it has been adopted by some of our customers. And I would like to close by saying how we are seen outside of the community. This is what others say about us. Gartner, they used to have other quadrants, but for the first time they have made a multi-experience Magic Quadrant, where GeneXus has been added as one of the best platforms. Gartner is putting us amongst the best solutions in the world. And the other one, Forrester, with this phrase that also puts us among the best. And I'll leave you with this sentence, which is a little better. GeneXus is the best low-code platform you've now heard of. Thank you very much.
Gracias.